Thanks so much, CEO, for your time. Let's talk about the significance of today.
Today was very important. Early in the year, we hosted a nation brand masterclass, and at that masterclass, it was determined that there was going to be a huge need between what B20 is putting together and what G20 is putting together. In as much as the structures are talking to each other all the time, this level of alignment was quite critical. So today really was to really ensure that we are a few days away from G20, we're a few days away from B20. Is there that critical alignment synergized? And today was clearly that session that specifically focused on that. Deputy Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, who spoke very well about the alignment, Ambassador Polisi Mabongo, who spoke very well in terms of the alignment as well as the Keskovadia, the Sherpa for B20. So today was very successful. The beauty is the messaging is going to be uniform in terms of B20 as well as G20, that alignment. The most beautiful positive thing that also came out of this was how we're going to celebrate South African stories in terms of successes post G20, to amplify the messaging around South Africa and how South Africa is prepared to continue the journey of the G20 agenda that would have been set in this country.
Let's talk about what Brand South Africa has been doing in promoting South Africa's presidency of the G20.
Yeah, we've been very busy this year. We've really had a clear targeted approach. The first was to focus on the African continent, because the president was quite clear when he took over the G20 was that G20 coming to South Africa is not a South Africa only event, it's an African event, and we need to make sure that we push that message across. We've done programs at the African Union, Africa CEO Forum, with the AFDB, with the Afrexim Bank. So a lot has actually happened within the continent, and that was a concerted effort. The second part of it was, of course, touching into the US market. In light of the geopolitics, it was important that we show presence within that market. I must say we've been well received by the US. We've been well received in terms of the American business, including some of the political leaders within the US, despite the noise that is out there. So it's been quite positive. And then a concerted effort in terms of Europe, in terms of how we position South Africa for the G20. And then, of course, the last part has been the ASEAN area, including the Far East. You would have seen the president has been leading quite a number of business delegations into these different markets, including us supporting the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, Minister Dow, in getting into these different markets to really get and support and amplify South Africa's presidency for the G20. All that has been very, very positive. A lot of the countries have all committed that they are coming to South Africa, which is a big plus, including either their heads of state or the most senior, second most senior person within the government who would be actually leading the delegations.
We've spoken about the World Cup, we've spoken about a number of big events that happened in the country. G20 has been South Africa's president for a year now, building to it. We're in the middle of it, about to conclude. What would this do to brand South Africa as we know it, to the country going forward?
You know, the beauty about B20 and G20 coming to South Africa this year, and what we're going to witness in the next few days, if you think about the world's biggest markets, world's biggest countries and economies descending into South Africa, leading not only the government delegations led by either the head of state, the president, the prime minister, but you're getting also the big business coming into South Africa. Not only big business, there's also the social summit that's taking place. All those within that perspective. The youth, the women, all those activities will be taking place here in South Africa. What does it say about South Africa? It says South Africa is open for business. South Africa is a destination that you can trust. South Africa is a destination that protects and supports human rights. And South Africa is a destination that is really going to ensure that from a global trade perspective, we continue maintaining the lead within the African continent, and we continue also singing the message around the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which is important that we expand trade within the African continent. So that is going to be the key takeaways.
Let me thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
This is Ubuntu Radio,
a product of the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, South Africa.